2025 was not just a hard year for me, it was absolutely relentless. Like I always do, I set a routine and structure that I wanted to follow for the year, but things don't always go as planned. And this is exactly what happened in 2025 that caused it to be one of the worst years for myself, but actually ended on a really good positive. It was physically hard, it was emotionally hard, it was financially hard, but the worst of the worst, it was so mentally hard too. And I'm about to tell you all the things I went through because I'm a very transparent person, and each lesson that I've taken away from each problem that's going to make me a better, more successful man in 2026. This isn't going to be some sort of pity story. I'm not on here looking for people to comfort me in the comments. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't want none of that. I'm just here as I believe I'm a good role model to young men. That's why I make content. I've helped with 25 people the past few months, which for me gives me a purpose in life. So I'm on here to be as transparent as possible and teach people that are possibly going through or have gone through the same things I have and how they can reframe their mind and take positives from each situation. So, the very first problem we had at the beginning of 2025, I went for ankle reconstruction surgery. Why? I was in the military. I already had a back issue. I went on an exercise and it was something stupid. It wasn't Ali, it wasn't cool. I put a radiator, a kerosene heater, onto the back of a truck and I tried to climb in the back of the truck and put it away. As I backed up to step down from the truck, I've slipped off, landed on a tree stump and snapped all the ligaments in my ankle. Once my ankle had healed, it was very unstable, so the doctors decided that I was to have metal plates and pins put in to give me more stability. So at the beginning of 2025, I had the surgery, come out of hospital, and I spent about 2 months bedbound on crutches in absolute agony. And the worst thing, I couldn't train in the gym. Anyone that knows me, I'm a huge advocate for going to the gym and training because it's so good for your mental health and it makes you physically fitter and healthier too. So for me, to not be able to train for 8 weeks absolutely crippled me. I lost a lot of muscle, I lost a lot of size, motivation had gone. I felt so upset. There was times that I was nearly crying in my room just because I wanted to go to the gym and train. With me being bedbound, housebound, not being able to move very much, this gave me more time to watch podcasts on business, self-improvement, and it gave me time to reflect on my life of what I wanted to do for the year and honing my skills on becoming more mentally strong, business skills, networking skills. So what I learned from having a bad ankle and not being able to train for a while is don't attach your whole personality to one thing. I know so many guys that their whole life is training in the gym, going to the gym, posting gym content. It's very risky because the day you get an injury or you feel sick and you're out the gym for a week or 2 weeks, your life is going to fall to bits. So what I would say, find other hobbies, start building something, whether it's a business, a network, a community, so when something does go wrong and you are injured, there's something else for you to put your focus on and you're not going to lose your head. But like everything that happens to me, I'm grateful. I'm grateful I was in pain. I'm grateful I was bedbound. I'm grateful I was upset and angry because every single negative that I go through makes me a stronger person. My mental strength, because of that one incident of being bedbound for 2 months, has built strength. If it happens again, it'll be even easier. Very, very soon after my ankle injury and my rehabilitation, I was medically discharged from the army, which I knew was coming and I thought I'd mentally prepared for, but I hadn't. All of a sudden, I was back home in my room, just like life was before I joined the army. I'd lost the structure. I'd lost being around a network of lads that were all good fun. You all had a similar lifestyle. So this part of my life was very, very lonely. I was uncertain of what I was going to do with my life, although I thought I had mentally prepared for this by writing down my goals and what I was going to do. You cannot mentally prepare from leaving the forces, whether it's RAF, Navy or the Army. Life on Civvy Street is so different to being in the Army. There's not one place, apart from university maybe, where you're in a block 24/7 with lads that you can go knock on the door, have a chat with, play Xbox with, go to the gym with. Once I left there and come home, it's just me. This forced me into building my own routine and my own structure, and I'm quite autistic with it now. I plan, or try to plan, my life out hour by hour. Things don't always go as planned, but if you look at my Google Calendar, from the moment I wake up and the moment I go to sleep, I've got tasks that I should be doing. And this is a massive positive for becoming successful. So if you're in the army or the forces, one thing I would say if you come into the end of your term there, you get medically discharged, you're signing off, is start building yourself a routine, a Google Calendar to plan your life out. Because once you leave, it's so strange having to wake up, drive to work, because I was so used to just crossing the road and going into work. I was used to being told what time to go to the gym, being told what time to shower, being told what time my lunch was. So you need to build that into your civilian life. Have set eating times, set training times, because you can kind of mirror army life for yourself. It'll make things a bit more comfortable. One thing being medically discharged from the army taught me is just because something ends, it doesn't mean you've failed. You're just being redirected for a bigger purpose. So once I was medically discharged, I was then on my own feet and I had to find myself another source of income. With the injuries I had, both in my ankle and my back, I was job hopping so much. I went from working on a turkey farm to working in a warehouse to delivering Domino's pizzas. And then I found a job pot washing in a pub, and this is actually ideal. It was chilled out, so if I wanted to sit down, I could. Smash my workout, go sit on the bench outside. Very flexible, very chill out job, but the pay wasn't amazing and it was only part-time hours. This is not me like belittling anyone that works a normal job, but me washing the dishes and being a pot washer, I just knew that I was meant for more than just washing dishes in the back of the pub. I've always had businesses, they've always failed, but I had a bit of money in the bank, and this is when I decided to launch the leaflet distribution business. One thing I learned from working all these jobs is don't have an ego attached. I know so many lads that would rather be broke and not work and have their parents pay for things for them than work a shit dead-end job. I'm different. I like trying to provide for myself, making my own money. The last thing I want is my parents or families having to fork out money to pay for me. And just remember, your temporary situation in your job does not define your permanent future outcome. Just because you're working a little shit job at the moment, making ends meet, does not mean you're going to be there forever. Build a business on the side, learn new skills, and eventually you'll be out of that job. To that end, I started the business, I launched the business, and I made the very silly mistake of quitting the pot washing job to go all in on the business the first month I launched it. Thankfully, the first month was really successful, but the second month, the third month, things slowed down and I had to start job searching again. Hence why now I have a full-time job and I run the business on the side. As a young man, you should be full of energy, driven to achieve your goals. Do not make the excuse of just working a normal job and telling yourself, I don't have the time to do a business, or try and launch a business and have no cash flow saying, I don't have the time to work a normal job. You can do both. There's 168 hours in a week. You should be working minimum 60, 65 hours in work on your business and training, getting 6-7 hours of sleep a week. There's more than enough time to do both, to make ends meet and to benefit your future. One thing I need to share is don't think that when you launch a business, life's going to be easier. Life's going to be more free, less stress. It is the complete opposite when launching a business. Stress is through the roof. You don't know how much you're getting paid week to week, month to month. You have to make your own money, send invoices out, search for work, create your own leads. It is fucking mental. This is why I say to young guys, stay in your job until your business is making at least 2x your monthly income consistently. So if you're working a normal job and you're thinking of launching that business, do it. You do not need certainty. You don't know whether the business is going to fail or succeed until you actually try. All you need is a strong work ethic. You're going to work your ass off in work, make as much money as you can, so no matter what happens with the business, you can still pay your bills, you still pay your rent, your phone, your car insurance, all that crap, and you don't have the financial stress of the business having to make money, it makes life so much better. This is why I work the full-time engineering job, which pays me a nice salary to cover all my direct debits and some of the business costs. So about 80% of what the business makes, I can just pocket and save, reinvest. I had a bad ankle, I've been job searching, medically discharged from the army, then my mum and dad broke up. I am very emotionally strong in controlling my emotions. My mental strength is through the roof, like nothing really gets me down massively. But the worst thing you can see is your mum struggling. Once my mum and dad broke up, obviously my mum has to pay the majority of the bills now. He's not there to step up and pay his side of the bills. Watching your mum having to work her ass off, save her money, it's not a nice thing. Like, financial stress is horrendous. This is one reason that I stay motivated to achieve my goals. You should set goals in life that aren't about yourself, because the days you're feeling down, if all my goals are about myself and I wake up and go, I don't want to do it today, I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for my mum, for my family, for my future wife, for my future kids. It gives me another reason to get out of bed and fucking make things work. So the benefit I actually took away from this situation is it's given me even more drive to become successful, to make my business work. Because my mum hasn't got a lot of time left. She works her fucking ass off, and she's done so much for me in my life. And it's given me more of a boost, more of a drive to fucking get off my ass, reinvest my money, work overtime, reinvest that money into the business. Because the last thing I want is my mum passing away and I've not fucking retired and she's worked to the day she dies. That is my worst fear. And like I said, I reframe my mind in every situation. I can take them breaking up as a negative, but in fact, it's positively affected my work ethic. And this is one thing all young men should do, is everything that happens to you in your life happens for a reason. There is a positive you can take away from every single situation. During all these problems this year, my brother has been struggling with addiction, substances, alcohol, and gambling. Watching this and you're going through the same thing, it is so hard to watch someone you love, especially your little brother, go through something and get upset over something that he cannot control. It's very hard trying to help someone with an addiction. They lie, they're not honest, and they basically have two personalities, themselves and the addict. There's been so many times when I've come close to disowning my brother because of the things he's done, the way he treats family members. One thing you got to do is just continue to stand by them, because eventually he'll get through it. I will continue to try to get him in the gym, to try to get him into a job, take him to his meetings, give him advice, be there for him, take him on days out. He wants to go out and get out of the house. But it's so hard watching someone you love go through something that you have no power over. Anything I say or do, you can only give as advice. I just wish I could take it all, put the addiction on myself, and I could just fucking deal with it for him. But as you can imagine, overthinking about him when he's at the house, he's disappeared for a couple of nights, stresses you out, causes lack of sleep, makes you worry, makes you stressed. And once again, I see it all as a positive, not for him, but for me. From the situation, it's made me more mentally strong. I can deal with stress levels that not many people can. This is still an ongoing issue he's going through. I'm going to continue to stand by him, help him, because I know one day things will be alright, he'll get through it. And then, as of a couple of months ago, I broke up with my girlfriend. We'd been together a year, and this obviously causes problems in itself. When you lose someone that you're extremely close to, you're always on the phone with, you spend a lot of time with, you do everything together. When they're gone, it's fucking hard. It's like a part of you is missing almost. And if I compound the relationship ending with dealing with my brother's addiction, my mum and dad breaking up, job hopping, launching a business, being medically discharged from the army, breaking my ankle, still going through ongoing pain now. All these things add up, along with day-to-day stresses, shit that happens every other day that are minor things. These all build up and build up and build up. If you're not mentally strong as a man, you yourself could fall into addiction, drinking, drugs to cope. With the relationship ending, the positive I took from it is now I've got more freedom and time to work on the goals that I've set myself of retiring my mum, becoming successful, to provide for my future family, wife and kids. Now I've got all this free time, it gives me more time to focus on myself. I could tell you that the reason I got through all these things this year was because of discipline, motivation. Some people drink and take drugs, I do know that. But I can be completely honest with you. The whole reason that all this shit has happened to me this year, and still my business is going strong, I've got a fantastic paying job, I'm in the best shape of my life, is because I have faith. About a year ago, I let God into my life. I am far from perfect, but still, when shit hits the fan and you feel bad, those that do believe in God, follow God and pray. When you pray, once you're finished and the emotions are out here, you are so mentally clear, it is unreal. And when you have faith that a higher power has your life planned out, and every single thing that is happening to you is for a bigger picture, all your worries, anxiety, overthinking is just gone. The only thing I can recommend people do that are going through these problems or similar problems to get through them all, come out on top, is find God.